I was brought into the palace by the Empress Dowager when I was a child to be cultivated as the future crown princess. Yuan Lin is my future husband. I must respect him, love him. I has heard this teaching thousands of times, even though I don't understand what love is at all. But I know it's only him. He is my only support. Yuan Lin dislikes me. He will take me in winter, pushed into the cold pool water. It will be my carefully crafted gift. Throw it away. Until the emperor's death, he finally rose to a high position. But what I got was not imperial edict conferring the title of crown princess. Instead, it was a marriage contract. He wanted me with the one heading to the northern desert. Perhaps they will never come back. Young general gets married. He thought I would resist, but he shouldn't have done that. To look down on those who went to war for the country. I straightened my back. Yin Xie Huang Yen. But Yuan Lin regretted it. I am the only surviving orphan of the Marquis of Zhenbei's mansion. My father and brothers both died in battle in the northern desert. Unable to cope with the shock, the mother hanged herself. The Empress Dowager, out of consideration for my young age. Moreover, the entire family was loyal and valiant. They took me back to the palace. The marriage was arranged for the crown prince, a kind vegetarian who recited scriptures. Allow me to read and write like men. And they disciplined me all day long, hoping that to become a qualified granddaughter-in-law. In my memory, she told me again and again, our Meow Meow must like Lina. Respect him. Love him. Do you understand? As a child, he would always nod solemnly at her. Because I can tell, in this palace, she is my only support. But Yuan Lin and I have never gotten along since childhood. I followed the Empress Dowager's instructions. I always approached him cautiously. But something went wrong somewhere. He has always treated it like an enemy. I admired the flowers by the lotus pond. He will come from behind me, push me into the pool, watch me struggle and have fun inside. I wore new clothes. He will send a few eunuchs. They threw mud at me. He would laugh happily whenever I cried. He would even write down my completed assignments, tear it up in front of me. I was scolded by Zheng Taifu, whom I feared most. Whenever I cried to the Empress Dowager, she would only stroke my head. Meow Meow, don't cry. Meow Meow is the one who likes our Lina the most. I don't know why I like him, but people keep telling me they like him. So in my first 18 years, Yuan Lin is practically my everything. As kids, we were too young to understand romantic love. I just knew I had to like him. But when I was just beginning to experience love, he's grown up. He became a handsome young man. Only then did I understand. What does it feel like to like someone? Students in the Imperial Academy, they're all about the same age. They were all sons of officials and nobles. I am the only girl. From the moment I enrolled in school, I began to discipline myself. He doesn't care about anyone except Lai Yuan Lin, so it was time for me to finish my studies. I don't know any of them, other boys besides Yuan Lin, but everyone knows about my engagement with Yuan Lin. It became their topic of conversation. Yuan Lin was wicked in front of me, but he still maintained a composed demeanor in public. His airs as the crown prince. Occasionally, someone would gossip about him. He only gave a polite reply. Marriage is arranged by parents. Arranged marriage. Unbreakable. From Yin Yu. I learned what he said after going through several channels. I thought he accepted me. Bayan Barber. The longevity lock my mother left me. I gave it to him after class, but he saw that no one was around. Without even glancing at it, he sneered at my gift. It was flung very, very far. He said to me fiercely, "Who do you think you are? Stop dreaming about marrying me. Don't you even know if you're worthy?" That was the first time I felt heartbroken. That day, Yin Yu and I were in the palace. I searched for a very long time. They couldn't find that longevity lock. After returning home, I couldn't control my emotions. Kneeling on the Empress Dowager's lap, she started crying loudly. I don't have many memories of my family, but this is still things that are of great significance to me. The Empress Dowager maintained the same attitude. Meow Meow, don't cry. Don't you like Lina the most? Lina is too young to understand. I apologize to you. This bracelet is a gift for you. As she spoke, she touched the wristband. A white jade bracelet was put on my wrist. Yin Yu took ice cubes at night, applying a mask to my eyes. Your Highness has gone too far. Hello, speaking of each other, you are also a princess. I remained silent, gently turning the bracelet on her wrist. My fondness for Yuan Lin remains undiminished. Wherever he appears, I would approach them secretly. Various special days, I will do it myself. Embroider a belt and give it to him. In the end, it was either torn up or burned by him, but I was completely absorbed in it and thoroughly enjoyed it. The variables came too quickly. 3 years later, the current emperor is obsessed with elixirs. The body is becoming increasingly frail. He suddenly died during court. The government and the public were silent. Various forces suddenly awakened. The emperor was eager to seize the throne. The empress and empress dowager, together with their respective families. Yuan Lin, who was just 18 years old. They pushed it up forcefully. According to procedure, they want to make me empress, borrowing the name of my loyal martyr's orphan. Shut up those with ulterior motives. But they didn't know. Yuan Lin secretly trained a group of military generals. The late emperor was weak and incompetent. Years of fighting with barbarians on the border. No results found. The first thing he did upon ascending the throne, it was the emperor personally leading the expedition. Before the expedition, he looked at her, tears streaming down her face. The newly promoted empress dowager and grand empress dowager. He gave it another disdainful look. I stood to the side, head bowed and eyes downcast. He snorted coldly, opening. A good daughter-in-law raised by the empress dowager and grandmother. Your son is unworthy. This trip is dangerous. Your son cannot bear to sever the bloodline of the Marquis of Junbei. The engagement is hereby nullified. I also hope that the princess will take good care of herself. I stared at him blankly. The Empress Dowager wanted to say something more, lips opening and closing. He ultimately did not open his mouth. Since Yuan Lin went to war, the Empress Dowager converted to Buddhism. The imperial court was controlled by Yuan Lin's maternal uncle, the prime minister. Although my engagement with Yuan Lin was cancelled, but the Empress Dowager's attitude toward me remained unchanged. He kept comforting me. He was telling me, "The emperor likes you. That's how his child is." However, I have grown up. I can clearly feel Yuan Lin's dislike for me, but I've been like this since I was little. Yuan Lin was educated by the Empress Dowager. She genuinely liked him when she was just beginning to experience love. I've been ignoring this humiliation all along, silently watching over him. The Empress Dowager and I were suffering in the palace. Every time I follow the news from the front lines. 1 year later, Yuan Lin and the barbarians. A series of treaties were signed. They then returned to the capital in triumph. The day I picked up Yuan Lin, I stood on the palace wall, arm in arm with the Empress Dowager. Golden sunset. The sky was dyed magnificent and grand. When Yuan Lin rode his warhorse from afar, it has the true aura of an emperor. Even, the so-called empress is also played by someone. A woman was riding on Yuan Lin's horse. She has a cheerful personality. Casual wine removal. Although born on the border, but his face carried the misty rain of Jiangnan. I saw Yuling, proficient in horseback riding and archery. She would also wear a bright red dress. For the soldiers in front of the main hall, dance a song to celebrate. That day I saw her wearing a peony in her hair, wearing golden bells on her feet, a soft sword tucked at the waist, skirt fluttering. The swordsmanship was fierce, like a female war goddess descending to earth. The crowd cheered and jumped for joy for her. I kept applauding for her. After the dance, Yuan Lin stood up with a smile, raising a glass to announce she would be a greatly surprised queen. Everyone was astonished, but no one spoke up to refute it. The Empress Dowager coldly, "Town is filled with that fiery woman." He pulled me away from the table early. "Truly seductive. Who knows if they are barbarians sent to bewitch the emperor?" The Empress Dowager said angrily in front of the candlelight. I picked out the wick. "Your Majesty need not worry too much. The emperor has his own sense of proportion. It's unfair to you, child. So many years. Even the emperor won't see you do anything good. Now I've come to terms with it. He won't force you to marry him." The Empress Dowager lovingly touched my hand. I've lived this long. The first time I heard her tell me, arranged in Yuan Lin's future, I breathed a small sigh of relief. But I didn't expect what would happen in the days that followed. It's more painful than before. He brought the girl back to the palace. Yuan Lin then spoiled her rotten. She was given many privileges. For example, no need to bow. For example, one can come and go freely everywhere in the palace. So that day I was giving a gift to the Empress Dowager. When pruning the flowers in the small garden, she then stumbled upon it. She looked at me with a smile. "You are Xiao Miao." I bowed to her. He nodded in response. I had only heard Lin Lang mention it before. "See you today. He really does look like a scoundrel." She came closer to me. His body cast a shadow in front of me. I listened to what she said. No sound. My upbringing taught me that responding is what makes a good person. Then he took Yinyu, who was about to lash out. "Turn around and go back into the house." "What's the point of hiding? She's not just a divorced woman who got dumped." The girl was still shouting outside. Yinyu was indignant after hearing this. He wanted to push the door open and go out to talk back. I stopped that silly girl. She said angrily, "Why are you stopping me? Even if His Majesty dotes on her, you are still a princess, an unranked concubine. How could you overstep such a bounds?" I knew it in my heart. She treated me this way because my former engagement with Yuan Lin. But what can I do about her? She was capable of such behavior. It must be because Yuan Lin indulged him. Why should I deliberately invite trouble? Since I understood Ju Yu, after harboring considerable malice towards me, Chen Kui just stayed there all day. Empress Dowager's palace. During the day, I tend to the flowers and plants and read books. In the evening, I accompanied the Empress Dowager in reciting Buddhist scriptures. The Empress Dowager knew that Ju Yu was arrogant and domineering. Advise Yuan Lin. But Yuan Lin didn't take it seriously. The women of the Union. No need to live in other people's eyes. I can only trouble Princess Nanki to suffer this injustice. My days were as uneventful as ever. However, the Empress Dowager was in front of me. The number of times I mentioned Yuan Lin has decreased significantly. However, Ju Yu. He was also arranged by Yuan Lin to enter the Imperial Academy. She presented a quiet and elegant demeanor in class. Outside of class, however often I was cornered in the Imperial Garden. They used the most vicious words to belittle me. But most of the time I felt sorry for her. It's pitiful that she has to live on a man's love. Since no one told me, I want to like Yuan Lin who I am increasingly examining my past self. My coursework was completed shortly thereafter. The Empress Dowager saw that I had already mastered the skills. The decision was made to let me live outside the palace. When I packed up my books and left the Imperial Academy, I suddenly realized I have studied here for more than 10 years. I don't even recognize anyone except Yuan Lin and anyone other than Ju Yu. The Empress Dowager still loves me after all. He was rewarded with a pile of rare and precious treasures, enough for me to enjoy wealth and honor for the rest of my life. The day before leaving the palace, she held me for a long time without saying a word. Actually, I'm reluctant to part with her, but she was determined. I need to leave this place. The emperor is not the same emperor as before. I shouldn't have bound in the palace for so many years. Let's leave the palace and see a wider world. Her eyes were glistening. I glanced at her. She was clearly weathered, but his face remained solemn. He kowtowed heavily. I only took Yin Yu with me when I left the palace. The carriage took us. When delivered to the Marquis of Zhenbei's residence, it was already evening. The Empress Dowager has always been considerate. The mansion has been completely renovated. That night, I was lying in my room, first time in the nose. There was no trace of sandalwood fragrance in the Empress Dowager's palace. Unable to fall asleep for a long time, until dawn. I was just starting to feel sleepy when, and so I fell into a deep sleep. I had a very long dream. In my dream, my stranger father and brother are not dead. I was formally betrothed to Yuan Lin. She put on a fiery red wedding dress. He saw me coming. Her eyebrows and eyes seemed to melt away like ice and snow. A single stroke of the scepter was happily lifted. The red veil on my face. Then I woke up. I felt a sense of loss. Yin Yu saw me wake up. They brought out the toiletries. Before consciousness had fully returned, I suddenly had the idea of wanting to make myself happy. So he said to Yin Yu, "Let's go traveling. Go see the spring in Jiangnan and the snow in the north." Yin Yu nodded happily. We brought it with us that day. A guard set off. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. My state of mind after seeing the world, it's very different from before. Previously trapped inside the high city walls, I only know how to revolve around Yuan Lin. Now I understand. That self-righteous liking. Actually, it was for survival. I have to numb myself. That's not love at all. Yuan Lin is not worth my love. One glance. My 20th birthday is almost here. In a great surprise. A woman's 20th birthday is a significant milestone in her life. Second only to wedding day. I rushed back to the capital city just in time. When they arrived in the capital, the Empress Dowager's attendant, my trusted nanny, hurriedly pushed me to try on the dress. I let them do as they pleased. The night before the banquet, I was summoned by the Empress Dowager. When she saw me, the slightly cloudy eyes cleared up. He held my hand and said affectionately, "Our Meow Meow looks different." The Empress Dowager was also. I've gotten younger in the past 2 years. I nestled in her arms and acted coquettishly. She was beaming with joy. "You have such a sweet tongue. Without you, I would never be in this palace. It's very lonely there too." She pinched my nose. Tone of voice. I looked into the vast palace. Only her and Aunt Lunraw. I feel a little sorry for her. I want to stay and keep her company. "You're going to get married, silly girl. I'll be an adult tomorrow. How can you always stay by my side?" Her tone was tense. "I'll just stay single. Can accompany the Empress for a lifetime." I leaned against her chest. "Speak softly. Traveled for 2 years. My views on many things. There have been changes. For example, his affection for Yuan Lin. For example, I was born to be the fate of the orphan of the Marquis of Zhenbei. I can face it. The me of the past. I also want to make some changes for this. Yo, then your parents will blame me. When we get to the King of Hell's place. I'm in a difficult position to explain this to." The Empress Dowager tenderly stroked my hair. "No. I believe my parents both like it. Live a happy life. I'm happy when I'm with the Empress," I told her. "The palace walls are too high. It's better to go out. Do you know, Meow Meow?" After I listened, nodding as if understanding but not quite, the Empress Dowager then instructed Yin Yu, "Help me to rest." My daughter was so calm and collected that she wanted to stay up all night. Early morning of the first day, Aunt Fengsha then took a look at a broken person. "Come help me with my makeup and dental work." The nanny who helped me kept calling me. The prince was handsome. Skin as smooth as jade, naturally moist with autumn water. I've been in Changzhou for so many years. I didn't see my brother's aunt. Biku looked at. I was bitter all day. Ren Tian put it on her face. "Take me to apply makeup." "Prince Hope. Please order a meter of uranium. It is more delicate than chemically transformed." Her face when she closed, fine lines. However, the Stater method is not a stable self-sitting method. They quickly led me to my destination. A crimson peach blossom between the eyebrows. Let me look at myself in the present. Some young Sheng. Dignified eyebrows and charmingly innocent eyes. Fusion of abnormalities and various. The prince is so handsome. The official in charge will definitely be able to do so later. Recounting those years of learning. Xian looked at my face with full breath. Then my father was given to the old woman who gave birth to the pelvic nanny. I'm like a certain cake. After going through each step of the sequence, the final child was born. When the Empress Dowager and the Empress Dowager saw me, eyes are all the same. Tai Huang Taixiang Jun, look at my son. Tian Wei said. It's good to be young. We are faintly visible. We are now. It looks so good after a little tidying up. That was the beginning of the story. The Empress Dowager designated it as my ancestral day. Specially returned to Dingchang. He nodded in agreement. With the two of them accompanying them, I arrived at the banquet palace. Many people have already arrived at the scene, knowing that Empress Dowager takes my coming-of-age ceremony in 10 minutes. A powerful figure has arrived in the court. Seeing me and the two women enter, many rights and liabilities have been thrown at us. The right to marry. But Empress Dowager Ding. They broke all the olive branches. She Yuebuli. I can find someone I like. Then he pulled me to sit in the main seat. She and the Queen Mother are on the same side. Let me sit next to you. Seeing her do that made my face burn with embarrassment. If you want to see it, you have to give up your spot. What I say sets the rules. Today, you are the main user. This seat is for you. Empress Dowager. Xingguan looked down at Ji Shun and said, the Empress Dowager also spoke gently. King of Nanqi, please don't be shy. Today is your appointed day. The Lord will only use you. I had no choice but to sit gracefully in the main seat. Take it seriously. Mother came to Qingbei when the adult. Soon it was time for the traditional tossing of the embroidered ball. According to custom, I need to have a piece. Showing off Fu Yi's silk scarf. Standing on the high ground, he tied up the embroidered ball and asked it to be thrown down. Who took over? Who will have good luck this year? Grand Empress Dowager and Empress Dowager. They took me to the star-picking pavilion in the palace. I spread out that soft blue silk. Look at the wood and sand to identify the ground. The painting conveys blessings. Just as I was about to finish drawing, there is a little blue, always in a hurry to push people away, presented with a view. Nanqi Du Wang Su Miao. Yang's wedding will be held by Che Chiyuan. The Grand Empress Dowager and the Empress Dowager both lived there. The Empress Dowager said, trembling, you said the Emperor took Princess Nanqi. The marriage was arranged for Qi Guang. The Empress Dowager also looked incredulous. Is Qi Guang the one who is going to conquer the Northern Desert? Generals who went to war in the Northern Deserts all faced death 9 times out of 10. What is the Emperor doing? The Empress Dowager was furious. Go back and tell the Emperor. I have said I will not marry Princess Nanqi. That's ridiculous. The little eunuch was sweating profusely. A servant cannot make decisions. The Emperor has decreed that no one can disobey. Then I will ask my Miao Miao, does marriage mean living as a widow? I will go and talk to him myself. The Empress Dowager said. He rushed out. Ouch, Your Majesty, please don't go. General Qi is inside the hall. They were begging the Emperor to withdraw the imperial edict. Kneeling has been going on for a while now. It seems the Emperor has made up his mind. The eunuch dragged the Empress Dowager by the leg and begged her. The Empress Dowager kept comforting me. I listened to their argument, but suddenly I got a headache. My father and brothers also died in battle in the Northern Desert. Every willing. Those who went to the Northern Desert to fight were all heroes. How dare Yuan Lin make things difficult for Qi Guang? He is just. A weak treaty was signed, and the soldiers fighting on the front lines. It was all fueled by the passion of alcohol that drove them away. Barbarians who covet the nation. I gently brushed the Empress Dowager's hand away. He knelt down with a thud before the Grand Empress Dowager and the Empress Dowager. I solemnly say, the Empress Dowager kowtowed. Your Majesty, Nanku is unfilial. Nanku wishes to marry General Qi. Vague. Miao Miao. You don't need. The Empress Dowager in an instant didn't react. Stopping from speaking, the Empress Dowager quickly helped me up. Mother and Princess, please don't be annoyed. I'll go and teach this unfilial son a lesson right away. I did not push away the Empress Dowager's hand. I scanned it carefully. Everyone in this room, speak solemnly. No, my father and brothers also died in battle in the Northern Desert. Marry a man who went to war in the Northern Desert for his country. I, Xiao Miao, am willing. Then I took the runes that I had just written. Silk and embroidered balls ran out. The Empress Dowager panicked and ordered. That little eunuch chased me back. I was wearing a heavy formal dress. With all my might, he ran towards Yuan Lin's main hall, ignoring the little eunuch's desperate cries from behind. Arriving at the front of the palace, I was panting. A young general dressed in armor was seen. She was kneeling down, begging Yuan Lin to give up the arranged marriage. Yuan Lin saw me coming. His expression became playful. Just like before, he treated me. Push me into the lake and watch me struggle. He betrothed Princess Nanqi to the general. This is also to bring good luck to the general on this trip. He gave a forced smile. Zhu Yu was beside him. Alluring figure. She fawned over him, pinching his shoulder. I laughed at the general and the wolf below. I regained some strength. A young general. Pull up from the ground. The hydrangea I just wrote. He stuffed it into his arms. The silk was soaked with my hand sweat. I used all the courage I had in my life. Tell him, husband. When should we get married? Ji Guang's beautiful eyes. I stared wide-eyed at the hydrangea and me. I should look like a wolf right now, running on the road. Several hairpins have fallen off. Seeing that he remained silent, I turned to look at Yuan Lin. Yuan Lin still looked at me with a critical eye. Then please set the table with the general. The day we set off, I bid farewell to the general. I looked into Yuan Lin's eyes, firmly say, okay, then the union will be complete. Princess Nanki and General Qi. Yuan Lin smiled and drafted an imperial edict. Ju Yu took it and threw it in front of me. I held the imperial edict. They dragged Qi Guang out of the main hall. Qi Guang looked incredulous. Then all the way, I dragged him onto the carriage. On the carriage, I told him, my father and brothers both died in battle in the northern desert. If the emperor wants to make things difficult for you, I won't let him get cocky. Every general who went to conquer the northern desert, they are all heroes. I looked at the imperial edict in my hand, recalling what just happened. Yuan Lin's eyes and words. I couldn't help but cry. Qi Guang quickly removed his armor. The moon-white robe underneath was revealed. He carefully moved my head. It was placed on his knees. At this moment, in my 20 years, all the grievances were poured out. His clothes were ruined by tears. Qi Guangban gently stroked my back. Princess, no need to be sad. Your Majesty, I'm afraid of the princess. Marrying me will make me suffer for the rest of my life. If I do not return alive, I know that's how it is. Then you'd better come back alive. You must come back alive. I held up a card, a face smeared with tears. Say it to him harshly. Qi Guang nodded. I buried my face in his knees and continued to cry. He cried all the way to the Marquis of Zhenbei's residence. I was already crying then. I have no strength left. Let Qi Guang carry me down from the carriage. Grand Empress Dowager and Empress Dowager. They were already waiting for me at the door. Seeing me crying so sadly in Qi Guang's arms, the Empress Dowager was heartbroken. They quickly had someone prepare it. Hot water helped me wash up. The Empress Dowager then went to the kitchen. Make me some food. Finally finished removing my makeup and hair, I was helped to the main hall by Yin Yu. The three Empress Dowagers sat in chairs. All were silent. Some were placed on the table. My favorite foods. I'm really tired today, so I picked up my chopsticks. They then began to feast. Princess, you don't need to humble yourself by marrying me. Your Majesty may request that the imperial decree be withdrawn. Quite a while, Qi Guangxi spoke. I did not answer him. I'm so tired. The Empress Dowager sat down opposite me. Seeing that I kept eating and didn't say anything, he sighed. If your mind is made up, I will then prepare your dowry. I nodded after listening. I thanked Qi Guang for his kindness. Qi Guang wanted to open his mouth to say something more. I glared at him fiercely. How? You dislike me? Your Majesty dares not. Qi Guang was somewhat timid and hesitant. Then marry me. Then they returned safely from the northern desert. I ignored. The other two had complicated looks. He said earnestly to Qi Guang, your subject obeys. After hearing his response, I suddenly felt dizzy. Then he lost consciousness. When I woke up, Yin Yu is applying a compress to my eyes. The Empress Dowager held the medicine beside me. Seeing that I was awake, he quickly asked Yin Yu to help me up. They just poured a huge spoonful of bitter medicine down my throat. I was so bitter I stuck out my tongue. At this moment, the Empress Dowager walked in from outside the door. You've suffered, girl. I was wrong. I shouldn't have betrothed you to the Emperor back then. The Empress Dowager said with self-reproach. Empress Dowager, stop talking. It's my fault for not raising Lina well. The Empress Dowager comforted her. As they spoke, they poured another spoonful of medicine into my mouth. I looked at the two of them with three concerned faces, and Yin Yu. Say it casually. It's fine. My ladies, you don't need to worry about me anymore. I do. Qi Guang is a good man. If I could entrust my life to him, that's a good thing. The Empress Dowager and the Empress Dowager exchanged a glance. The Empress Dowager opened her mouth again with concern. You used to spend most of your time in the palace. You don't know those things. Qi Guang's reputation. Not good in Beijing. Arrogant and unruly, eccentric and wicked. We're afraid you'll get bullied. I have two good empresses supporting me. I am not afraid. I smiled and hugged them both. Then she said softly, moreover, those who dare to go on expeditions to the northern deserts, he can't be a bad person. The Empress Dowager held my wedding with Qi Guang. It was a very grand event. Almost all the powerful and influential people in the capital came. Yuan Lin also came. After Qi Guang and I finished toasting, he said in a sarcastic tone, congratulations, General Qi, on winning the heart of your beauty. You must treat my younger sister well. When he was talking about his sister, it was gritted teeth. Qi Guang wanted to say something. I quickly pulled him away. The more you communicate with people like Yuan Lin, he got more and more excited. I understand now. Sure enough, in the following time, Yuan Lin kept holding his. He looked at me with a playful gaze. When my gaze met his, they all wore a hint of sneer. They only went on one expedition and actually be a scallion. Finally, I wore my wedding dress. Qi Guang was sent to the battlefield. He had a necklace around his neck, the amulet I carved while staying up all night. Galloping away with his troops. Yuan Lin stood beside me. He snorted coldly. I hope he can come back. Don't be like your father and brothers. I stared wide-eyed. The hair ornament was disheveled by the wind. He can definitely do it. Yuan Lin glanced at me. He shook his head. Then they returned to the palace. Because the Empress Dowager considered Qi Guang to be a son-in-law, I did not live in the Qi mansion. The whole nest is in my Zhenbei Marquis's mansion. Eating and drinking every day and Qi Guang communication. Qi Guang wrote letters very frequently. He would tell me about the battle situation and the scenery of the northern desert. Occasionally, I write a long one. It tells the story of those brothers who died in battle. Upon receiving the message, I would pack my valuables. I personally visited their families to offer my condolences. Over time, Qi Guang's reputation improved in the capital, and my relationship with Qi Guang became increasingly close. He has excellent writing skills. Since I expressed my hope after seeing the scenery of the northern desert, he would often write about scenery for me to see. Yuan Lin, after my marriage, he would often summon me to the palace for banquets. The Empress Dowager would usually help me refuse, but some things are simply impossible to refuse, so I still took it. That mask of a proper lady, treating every banquet in a formulaic way. I only go there occasionally, acting coquettishly in the Empress Dowager's palace. She would then ask me how Qi Guang was doing at the front. I learned from his letters and battle reports that the Northern Desert royal family is currently in turmoil. He was confident of seizing this opportunity. They conquered the Northern Desert in one fell swoop. I explained the situation to her in detail. She said she would be in front of the Buddha every day, pray for Qi Guang and his soldiers. On one occasion, I went to a banquet at the palace as usual. Halfway through the banquet, I'm so bored. He then slipped away to the Imperial Garden for some fresh air. It was a spring day. The afternoon sunlight was sparse. Wine on the small pond in the Imperial Garden. I saw that there was no one around. He took off his shoes and socks and played in the pond. Yinyu loyally helped me, monitoring the surrounding situation. Suddenly a shadow fell over me. I was just thinking of letting Yinyu go. Looking up, he saw Yuan Lin's face. I quickly put on my shoes and socks and stood up. He bowed to him, pulling Yinyu along. They wanted to return to the banquet. Yuan Lin grabbed my hand. His expression remained the same. A haughty expression. Do you know why today's banquet is held? Since I married Qi Guang. Banquets were something the Empress Dowager always did. They only asked me to participate because I couldn't refuse. I don't want to know. Excluding the Empress Dowager's birthday. The reasons for all the banquets on the Empress Dowager's birthday. Anyway, the reasons are all boring. So I shook my head. He wanted to pull his hand away from Yuan Lin's grasp. Yuan Lin tightened his grip even more. I turned and handed him a puzzled look. Your Majesty, please take heed. Nanku is already married. It wouldn't be good if others saw it. Have you forgotten something? He held me tightly. Your Majesty, you should speak frankly. Nanku has not entered the palace for a long time. If the palace rules are broken, you can impose any punishment after the banquet. I don't want to play guessing games with him. He forcefully pulled his hand outwards. His expression suddenly turned melancholy. Let go of my hand. I quickly pulled Yinyu towards the banquet. As I left, I only heard something behind me. Yuan Lin let the people of the Imperial Garden the command to change the water in the pond. So that's how it is. He let out a breath. Shortly after I returned, Yuan Lin also returned to his position. Juyu poured him wine, one cup after another. His expression was unfriendly. This made Juyu feel a little embarrassed. He didn't know what Juyu whispered in his ear. He then berated him and made him leave the room. The ministers who attended the banquet saw Juyu leave his seat. He hurriedly introduced the emperor. My own daughter came. The emperor looked displeased. However, the Empress Dowager was also in favor of urging marriage. He suppressed his temper at the banquet. At the end of the banquet, night had fallen. Leaving the palace is not very convenient. I then followed the Empress Dowager. Go to her palace to rest. Before leaving, I discovered Yuan Lin kept looking at me. Seeing that I noticed, he instinctively avoided eye contact. I was a little confused, but still, with the Empress Dowager, she returned to her palace. Back in the palace, the Empress Dowager confided her worries to me. The emperor has been on the throne for 3 years. No children yet. Is there something wrong with Consort Ju's health? The emperor only had her as a concubine. I comforted her. It all depends on fate. It's as if heaven is choosing a good child to surprise us. The Empress Dowager rubbed. My palms were a little cold. That would be best. It's such a pity about you, girl. She didn't marry our Lina after all. Heaven has its own arrangements. General Qi is also a very, very good person. I looked at the stray strands of hair falling around her ears. He reached out and tucked it behind her ear. Nothing. I no longer want to take care of Lina. I'm just happy to see you happy. If you have suffered any injustice, you must tell me. The Empress Dowager cupped my face. They wiped me clean. Dust on the face. I acted cute and coquettish. At this moment, Aunt Lanruo came in. Your Majesty. Your and the princess's birthday gifts this year. It was sent to His Majesty separately. She reported to the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager nodded. Aunt Lanruo then. He closed the door and went out again. I only realized it then. Today is Yuan Lin's birthday banquet. Since I left the palace 2 years ago. Therefore, they rarely pay attention to royal affairs. You've even forgotten about that. I glanced guiltily at the Empress Dowager. She looked completely indifferent. But what if no gifts were prepared for the birthday banquet? It's a very impolite thing. It's my own fault for not figuring it out beforehand. She seemed to read my mind. He spoke softly. I've prepared your share as well. I don't want you to waste your time and energy on trivial matters. I nodded in relief after hearing that. I continued to lean against her and talk to her. When they returned to the Zhongbei Marquis's residence the next day. Just then, Qi Guang's letter arrived. I opened it and took a look. The cover features a rabbit. I vaguely remember it was his zodiac sign. Qi Guang told me that his birthday was coming soon. I hope to receive your blessings. She also told me the good news. The soldiers' morale is very high recently, defeating the enemy all the way. I happily wrote my reply in my study. After finishing writing, I thought about giving it to Qi Guang. What gifts to make? So I wrote one overnight. Wearing a peace knot, one fell from above. Rabbit-shaped white jade pendant. He also painted a portrait of him. It says on it that Qi Guang will surely win. They blocked the way, carrying the messenger. Qi Guang replied soon after. The above expresses the love for my gift. Accompanying the letter, there is also a portrait. I drew a picture of him that looks a bit silly. Beside me, dressed in gorgeous clothes. Accompany me to see the scenery. My face turned red. He encouraged him in the letter he wrote. If we take over the northern desert, then we can. Let's ride horses to the northern grasslands. Watching the sunset. 6 months later, Qi Guang led the troops. Greatly defeated the northern desert. The northern desert was brought into the territory of the Great Surprise. The day he returned in triumph. I had been guarding the city wall for a long time. Yuan Lin is also there. Empress Dowager because of this period. I was unwell and did not travel. I embroidered a belt with rabbit pattern. He held it in his hand and thought about it. He'll hand it to him as soon as he gets off his horse. Yuan Lin on the side. He looked at me with a complicated expression. Perhaps unexpected. Qi Guangning returned safely. When the sun is directly overhead, Qi Guang led his soldiers, galloping towards the city gate. I'm excited. He kept waving from the city tower. Qi Guang saw me, smile at me brightly. Seeing that he was not far from the city gate, I quickly descended from the city wall. When on the ground, he happened to be riding by. They quickly grabbed me and pulled me onto the horse. I was somewhat surprised. She clung tightly to him, carrying a hint of northern cold on the chest. He was holding the embroidered belt for him in his hand. He happened to see the belt. Reach out and scoop. She asked me with a smile. Is it for me? I nodded. He stopped the horse. He hugged me tightly. Yuan Lin also came down from the city wall. He said to us coldly, I'm still here. General and Princess, please do not lose your manners. He did not address Qi Guang as Prince Consort. What's wrong with him now? Qi Guang quickly took me. He lifted her off the horse. Xiong Yuan Lin bowed. This humble general pays his respects to the emperor. Get up. General Qi now. But I was greatly surprised by the great hero. A banquet is being held in the palace to celebrate General Qi's victory. Yuan Lin is still the same. A forced smile. Looking at me and Qi Guang. I was just about to say something back to him. Qi Guang spoke first. Merit does not belong to the minister. In the millions. The soldiers who accompanied the minister on the expedition. If your majesty doesn't mind the trouble, please grant me the title and rewards. Distribute to these soldiers. Yuan Lin listened to his words. He said with a sneer, General Qi is truly thoughtful. I saw Yuan Lin like this. I really couldn't hold back anymore. He retorted, if only the emperor could be so brave. General Qi has no need to go on this expedition. The general was exhausted after returning from the northern desert. Izinkan soyo memberwania kembli kuruma besar untuk beristirahat terlebih dahulu. Setelah mengetahkan itu, dia mendorongnya ke atas kuda. Aku menunggangi kuda yang luar biasa itu. Mereka berlari menuju kediaman Marquis Zhongbei. Qi Guang terkejut ketika melihatku membalas perkataan Yuan Lin. Tiba-tiba aku teringat sesuatu. Aku menatap lehernya. Jemat yang soyo yuki untuk keberuntungan saat pergi berperang masih ada di sini. Mereka mempercepat laju kendaraan dan membawanya kembli ke rumah besar itu. Yin Yu tiba lebih awal bersama para pelayan. Air panas disiapkan untuk Qi Guang. Qi Guang membersihkan diri dan berganti pakaian. Pakaian ringan. Rambutnya terurai selembut sutra. Aku memberi istirahat padanya. Aku memberi istirahat agar dia datang ke situ. Tampaknya General Qi memiliki niat yang baik. Jemat dan jalan yang kuberikan. Benda itu tidak hilang bahkan selama perang. Aku menatap telai berwarna-warni di tangannya. Aku membayangkan adegan itu. Qi Guang berterang dengan gagah berani. Senjata di tangan. Tapi di pergelangan tangannya. Bukan halas yang memengkalkan warna sekra halas. Niat sang putri. Aku tak berani kalah. Aku lebih memilih mati daripada membiarkan hadiah sang putri rusak. Dia menatapku dengan tatapan kosong. Seperti anak kesel. Aku dengan cepat mendeluarkan beberapa suara serak. Yin Yu membiarkan depa kesel itu menyiapkan makanan. General, anda harus puas tinggal di sini untuk sementara waktu. Legipula, sekra nominal dia masih seorang menantu. Soyo mengambil sisir. Tentu saja, soyo menyisir rambutnya. Tidak dapat memperoleh. Qi Guang tersenyum. Seperti di bulan ketiga musim semi. Maka Qi Yuan pun mulai menjabat di kediaman soyo. Tapi kami tidak melewati tembak itu. Sangat sulit untuk akhirnya mengabadikan lokasi yang sulit ini di gurun utara. Yuan Shunji sedang berada di rumah, beristirahat. Secus web kami terus perbarui dengan foto-foto dari kantor kami. Bisa keluar rumah saat masih kesel. Bawakan aku beberapa kamilon. Hari-hari kerabatnya. Rasanya seperti tinggal di surga. Hanya saja Yuan Shun sering memanggilku Kuchan. Semakin tinggi dan semakin tinggi. Xuanqi juga tinggal di Shangnai dan mendirikan sebuah tempat usaha. Qi Yuanwu and I changed our clothes. We boarded the carriage and entered the camp. The cloud will remain unchanged. Qi Yuan was immediately surrounded by a crowd upon entering the venue. Biao has no one paying attention. I used the same trick again and slipped away to the imperial garden for a stroll. Chishi night was as smooth as water. I guarded a pavilion. Sit there and gaze at the clear starry sky on a summer night. Yinrun Gao Nyan. Kuxing helps a keying. The lights of the star-picking tower are dim tonight. The plan was to drive the workers gathering together to observe the stars and predict the nation's fate. It certainly complements the scenery. At that moment, I suddenly smelled a Junior has a very strong fragrance. Home is set to enter one tasteless cosmetics shop. I asked someone outside. Originally, Ding Tongyu stopped asking me about Dinglai. I sat down on my stone without making a sound. She looked at him with a hint of concern. He sat across from me. Years have passed. The prince's manners have definitely not improved. Lu, did not bow. I glanced at her. She was wearing a red dress. A delicate makeup look on the face. Jin Ding Fu Li. I don't even need to present it. I cannot accept such courtesy. Back when I married Qi Yuan, Empress Dowager Taicheng was then exempted from the duties. All my manners. Also determined. Half a gram of people determine the person. So many years. It's sure to make people uneasy. She played and looked at herself. Fingers covered in red nail polish. I don't know why. They always treat me the way they treat old friends. I generally don't like to clash with others. Shukui got up and left the pavilion. But she followed. Grabbing at my sleeve, she said, "You think you're married now? Is that all? That little vixen is still seducing you. Ben Chang is going to teach you a lesson today." I automatically study. He was gentle and kind, and had the guidance of the Empress Dowager. Now she's inexplicably slandering me. I can't buy Ren Tai. Just about to erupt. Yuan Shun Kami. A slap sent Juyu sprawling to the ground. I looked at Yuan Lin in surprise. His clothing was unclear under the cover of night, but I can definitely sense his attitude. Maybe like this. Chenin only thought. Tong Yutsu were judges by appearance. Before he could finish speaking, Yuan Shun Tai shouted, "Roll." Tong Bao quickly got up from the ground. He left, supported by his maid. I glanced at Yuan Shun's inscrutable face. Fixed opening without repetition. Why is this pair without a definite reason? He clearly intended to take Tong Yulong to heaven. Chui Jiu de Xia this kind of place. I asked him if the ceremony had been completed. He then thought of bypassing him to find Qi Yuan. Yuan Shun pulled my skirt and used it. "Don't you have anything to say?" His voice was hoarse. I seriously thought about it. I just realized I forgot to say thank you. He then earnestly thanked him. Shunzi used his skirt to lift it. He blurted out a sentence without thinking. "Zai. Don't you have anything to give me?" I thought about it carefully. I don't have fire element instant. Ding and Yuan saw that I had borrowed money from him. I shook my head without thinking. "Longsha, I don't understand what Yen said. Can you let me go back? She has been waiting for me for so long. I'll worry if I don't go back." Yuan Shun listened to what I said. The reaction was even stronger. He suddenly stepped forward and held on tightly. He held me in his arms. I patched looking at my shoulder. "You just keep him like this. Let me imagine Yu Yi for a moment." Faintly on the shoulders, a faint dampness was felt. I understand now. Longxia and Zhu Gongxi. Is it possible to have a marriage bestowed by the emperor? Then I must let my heavenly lord rest. I used all my strength. I want to escape from his arms, but he definitely held it even tighter. "You still call him great king. He's not sure about your right-winger. You were destined for me. How could you treat me like this?" I heard Yuan Zhengpengzi. What are these two different things? I forcefully swam away from his brain, seeing that his family was as big as the sky and the elder family. The face of the homeless king's prestige. The emperor may personally dissolve the engagement. They also arranged a marriage for me. I've been a member of the Qi family for a long time. Enbayan must have suffered some kind of trauma. He wasn't good to me before either. Why did he go crazy at this time? You used to give me gifts every year during my mother's birthday celebrations. Cloud gave me a birthday present. Qi Juo also gave me a gift. Since I took office, I haven't received any more gifts from you. Is even more amazing. The gatekeeper placed a deep grip on my shoulders. I only want to hear Yuan's thoughts. He was determined to take this matter. I had no choice but to speak. "Longsha. I admit I did. Fei Di genuinely liked Yen. The Empress Dowager taught me from a young age. We will also prioritize kindness. I believe that the sound of the scriptures is. You decides to make my whole world." Yuan Lin heard this. Jisha was startled by the dogs crying. "Pick up the big one and look at me. The eyelids are sparkling. This can solidify all my expectations of grace." No response has been received. What else does HM expect me to do? I felt a faint sense of joy, like a fixed dark lamp in my mind. Watch that. His words were a betrayal of me. Yuan Lin's face was flushed with tears as he looked on. He looked at me in unison. "Sasha, I'm sorry. Make me a good choice. I've blocked him for a factory. I will send you gifts every time I go to my alma mater." He seemed to remember something and started to ramble on. "Do you and I not have bamboo? She looks so much like you. I only ordered it so that you could take Esther's. Let you marry Qi Yuan. This is also to discourage you from giving up. Can you forgive me? I really, really like you. I see a very good day." What kind of aches and pains are there in his current state? My birth. I no longer regard him as my superior. I tried to push him away from me with all my might, but he must have me. I will never let go. I'm sure they're the biggest villains. Is it okay for adults to remember the faults of children? My mother was very depressed and Sasha gave me a gift. Mother Metropolis. Shosho, please push me into the pond too. You can apply gua sha to me, or you can bookmark me. As long as Shosho is happy. Can you look at me one more time? Sabo Kepi. This is definitely not the same as the time when they always bullied me. Yuan Shun, expressionless. His likes. His friend came too late. Or perhaps Yuan Linshan and I don't even know what it means to like someone tomorrow. He might like me. He's probably just afraid I won't send him the message. I tried with all my might to escape, but the order record won't disappear. We can only let him watch. I don't want to say another word to Yuan Shun. Looking back now, I saw the grayness of his entire life. The current incumbent spoke of it casually, but people's hearts are made up of flesh and blood. When my heart was trampled by a Mei, am I not upset? Currently residing in Kishigongtai, Taiwan, I just want all the scars to disappear. I'm determined to be a fully recovered person. When someone dislikes something, they look at the right side of the body. Toys that come to you whenever you want. When Self and Yuan Shun were locked in a stalemate, I saw Qi Yuan stepping in, gazing at the moonlight. In that instant, I suddenly felt the masculine energy I had displayed before the palace that day. I watched Yuan Shun Songzi. When you see my clothes, he forcefully moved towards Qi Yuanju. When he bumped into Qi Yuan, he lifted me up sideways. I looked coldly at Yuan Linshan from his arms. I choose Qi Yuan. Qi Guang carried me all the way back to the mansion. The city was brightly lit on Shishi Festival. He walked in silence. I was in his arms. Look at the starlight and the lights of the buildings. Look at his resolute and handsome face. Suddenly I remembered that I seemed to. I don't really know him yet. When I returned to the mansion, it was already late at night. I have an urge to ask Qi Guang. What about him? Did he marry me because of Yuan Lin's imperial decree? But in the end, she didn't ask. I felt a bit depressed when I went to sleep at night. I tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. It's all because of Qi Guang. I received it early the next morning. The Empress Dowager's summons. I entered the palace with dark circles under my eyes. When meeting that person, the Empress Dowager also rushed back from the temple. Both of them had complex expressions in their eyes. Sorry. We didn't expect that either. Yuan Lin, that child, would do this. Miao Miao was startled. The Empress Dowager tenderly touched my face. I shook my head. This kind of thing is nothing. Anyway, I'm married now. My husband is a great contributor. He had his grandmother and mother supporting him. What can he do to me? I've already given Lina a good talking to. He is now copying scriptures and praying for your blessings in the Buddhist hall. This is absolutely ridiculous. If it weren't for General Qi, your fate in your marriage with him, they're about to get entangled. The Empress Dowager's face was full of lingering fear. The Empress Dowager then closed her eyes. It seems like they're afraid to face me. I'm a little confused. Marriage and destiny. I have no face to lie to you. He summoned last night all the warlocks of the star-picking tower. Want to use evil magic to change your marriage fate? Let your destiny star. Entangled with him. The Empress Dowager spoke. Fortunately, Qi Guang discovered it. Otherwise, Lina would really become. This is a terrible, utterly despicable thing. I heard it from the Empress Dowager. Complete science popularization. There are evil spells in folk culture. It can make those who desire but cannot obtain it feel at ease. To fulfill the marriage of the one you love, tie it to your own destiny star. The price was the loss of 20 years of his lifespan. How did Qi Guang figure that out? He was a military general. How could I possibly understand these intricacies? The Empress Dowager sighed. This is what we were like back then. Some reasons why you are against marrying him. Qi Guang, this child from birth. It was destined. He will possess extraordinary astrological talent. However, the Imperial strategist's predictions, he is the reincarnation of the Star of Greed. Greedy Wolf is not an auspicious star for battle. So this is quite surprising. It's not a good omen. Therefore, before he was 8 years old, they all followed the imperial advisor. Learn auspicious techniques related to divination. I hope to reduce the malevolent aura emanating from him, in order to ensure the safety of the nation's destiny. The Qi family is just like your family. He rose through the ranks based on military merit. Those on military campaigns especially dislike this type of physique. Plus Qi Guang's mother. He died because of Qi Guang. Martial Qi can be said, that's why I hate this child. It is said that his malevolent energy caused his mother to die. A Jialing cherishes this child. So the Imperial advisor was instructed to raise him in the star-picking tower. He hoped the Imperial advisor would find him a teacher to teach him martial arts. Let him enter the Imperial Academy to study. I hope to become a talent that amazes me. He didn't leave the palace until he was 20 years old. When the Empress Dowager served tea to soothe her throat, the Empress Dowager continued the conversation. Yes. The Empress Dowager gave this child back then the privilege of free access to the palace. But everyone in the palace knew he was a jinx. I don't want to associate with him. Qi Guang's martial arts skills were taught by Lord Chu. Those in the city who had never seen such a scene before. I don't know if Qi Guang is the so-called evil star. He then became the king of the city. The imperial advisor was unaware that he was cleaning up the mess. How many times has he done good? The Empress Dowager spoke again, as if filing a complaint. The saying goes, you can tell what a person will be like at 3 years old. Meow meow. I still hope you will consider it. Qi Guang was a withdrawn and ruthless child even when he was young. How could that be in my residence? Like a wooden blockhead. The two took turns speaking. Qi Guang's previous behavior, teasing cats and dogs, stealing melons and dates, acting arrogantly and domineeringly in the capital. The implied meaning. They all wanted me to find an opportunity to divorce Qi Guang, but I listened with my chin propped up on my hand, finding it all quite interesting. I never expected Qi Guang to have such unbridled arrogance. The two empresses were described very vividly. It felt as if I had been a part of his entire life. When returning home, I spoke to the two people who had been trying to persuade them until their throats were dry. Blessings to you. On behalf of Qi Guang, I extend my greetings to the ladies. Thank you both for your hard work. After speaking, I couldn't wait. Have Yin-Yu prepare a carriage to take me back to the manor. As I turned to leave, I could hear it faintly. The Empress Dowager said helplessly to her daughter-in-law, all that talk was for nothing. Back at the mansion, Qi Yuanji Ren Dda. He specially opened his small flower bed. I lunged at him and grabbed him. Xiao Ransheng. Some people are advising me to divorce you. Qi Yuan listened to Yuan Fang for a moment. No picking up big. The above movements continued. Then let it be according to the king's wishes. People of bad character like me. Indeed, she is not worthy to marry the prince. I'll see his reaction. He straightened his body. Shigongshi En. Could it be that you really are pregnant with my baby? Only because of the whole eye. When I saw his face. But I saw that his eyes were wet. Ankyud was determined to be one. The little dog with a plate-throwing peculiarity. I quickly pulled him back into the room. He's always so busy. I have to coax him. Play the game. Why would I divorce you? Don't believe everything you hear. He wiped his eyes. Ask me, is the information I'm referring to fixed? I quickly made a gesture of speaking Mandarin, but he spoke up. It's certain that my fate is bad. I am destined to live. Even if the stars could still win such a victory ceremony. Which star are you sure to star? You set the symbol. I looked at him firmly. Wouldn't that be quite impressive? Jaime, that's how it is here. I pinched his cheek while looking at Anku. Qi Yuan listened to the expression on Yuan's face. They can all stand him. You already know. You know it's a trap. I clicked close. Look at his face. It turned red instantly, like a ripe seed. So what if it's certain? All I know is that Qi Yuan is in my Marquis's residence. Set a time when the flowers bloom. What do I want to eat? Just as the clouds were about to reach the distance between the legs, a 14-character heavenly ruler. I saw that his face was very red. My naturally curly hair, it was pasted on. He listened to what Yuan had said. The temperature on my face was even higher. Watch the replay of Sword Insect. My hands kept rubbing. Flowers bloom in the formation. Jun looked at me with a chubby face. Anyway, you mentioned divorce. I will let Empress Dowager Taicheng. I'll take you to the northern desert to open up the river. I pulled his face towards me. Zhizhen said fiercely. He washes the character on the top of the character. You should also know something about Yuan Linsha. You must have forgotten how you treat me normally. I don't know if you want me tonight. I'm going to build it. They got entangled together. He saw that I looked rather gloomy. The appearance of knowing all the big things. I relaxed. Then the blame fell on me. He watched on his own. His life as the crown prince. That must be dark and oppressive. He could only rely on watching the cryptocurrency market. Short incense is indulgence. To vent one's life is natural. The pressure brought. Mother heard that car. People who bully small leopards. His friendship with Kang and Manma. He would always bow his head. Relaxacy young turdistorsi. Karina energy negative de pat diaparasica. Veginila saharuznia. Dan Dalam character. Aku jealous satunya young. Akan mempahatikanya dengan saksa. Tidak mengindari tatapan orang-orang yang siang mengusinya. Soyo punya lanji. Karina peng element soyo seven. Marie mengenal chi yuangkai lebih dekit. Iwan tiba-tiba menjadi gila dan memerintahkan pengkai. Soyo sudah terbiasa mengenal orang yang memelukan seperti itu. Dan ketika dia menjabat. Soyo mengenalnya kurang dari 1000 bulan. Uding menanyakan hal itu kepada Saat anda masih menjadi putra mahkota. Lalu mereka memperhatikan soyo. Dia menyembunyikan jati dirinya yang sebenarnya. Saat matahari terbang. Aku melihat bebernya bergerak saat membuka dan menyaksikannya. Dia berkata kepadaku. Saat karakter mungkul. Yang kamu pedulikan hanyalah bagaimana cara mempresentasikannya. Wanti public. Male. Putra mahkota. Hatiku dipenuhi kebingungan. Karina menjadi seorang wanita. Soyo mengabdi kepada putra mahkota. Sesungguhnya, aku hanya mengenal Yuan Lin. Gongkitu Ci Yuan itu. Dia memanggil putra mahkota. Melihatku seperti ini. Ci Yuan Jiu Wei Ran pasti tidak akan menjengakku. Aku tak ingin menikahkannya. Jadi aku memasukkan tongkat pengetahuan. Dia menyandarkan dirinya kupelukan pria itu. Dia dengan lambat menjelas rambutku. Aku sudah menyukaimu sejak lama. Putramu. Pandaran Dingquan, adalah yang paling tampan. Lalu tiba-tiba aku teringat sesuatu. Saat itu saya berumur 18 tahun. Suatu hari, pada sekali, Yuan mereka memanggilku untuk menjadikan Lianzi sebagai guruku. Saat itu, Yuan Shurani memimpin jalan. Siapa orang datang untuk mempersilatkan soyo. Sobek yang paling atas. Saya menyadari bahwa soyo sendiri tidak yakin akan hal itu. Tidak ada cara untuk menanggapi hal ini. Mereka harus mengganti keturunannya. Jangan berikan soyo salanannya lalu serahkan. Soyo menerima ziu pada hari pertama. Your son, the crown prince, is the most handsome. But I have never taken any action. That's what you call yading? I asked Qi Yuan with some disbelief. He was always there. Then he started talking to himself. You didn't notice the same. Yuan Shun deceives your frequency. There are far fewer cries. When I sweep it for you, you ding. Your engagement is just an outdated inch. I've always tried to get close to you. Talking about selling. I was unaware of this. Because Yuan Shun has always had a serious attitude towards me. I closed the door, feeling rather annoyed. I don't know if Zhigong will return to him. From a young age, I was influenced by Empress Dowager Taishao was by his side, serving as the master of Yuan Shun. Reaction to many things. Very dull. Yuan Shunchong ran Ding Taizi. But the people on Qi Yuanding's side. Yuan Shun does not take Dong, fearing he would affect the fate of the nation. Hearing him say that for me, I'm terrified of Yuan Shun's deceitful act. Yuan Shun could only engage in empty talk after that. Ci Chiyuan and I are truly a perfect match. When Yuanju, have the northern desert. His ruthless nature is definitely a good match for me. That rice was from Yuan. Duli's bones were buried in the northern desert. You, the negative star, like her. It is inevitable. Only loans are accepted. She ordered my grandmother to raise Chongqiao for me. Qi Yuan because of this. Yuan Shun groped Ding hard. Yuan Shun, concerned about his reputation, did not alert anyone. When I was serving as the crown prince, I admired Prince Du. His tone was very soft. I heard him kiss Su and somewhat incoherent. They also said it depends on how much they like me. Densely packed. Feelings in my heart. I was given a pair of the sweetest locust flower candies, too soft to be discussed in general. It turns out that those days I paid attention to. Qi Yuan has been staying at the selection office to visit me. The sun did not turn sunny. I have no idea where he got to. I looked at his profile. He gently placed a kiss on my forehead. He has driving passion. Turn around and see me. I like you too. Yuan Linshun is right. We'll make it a perfect match. Beiwan's wolf lane. Cloud-based silent hair viewing. What should the girl do tomorrow? Not long after, Qi Yuan took him to see the pawn shop. I embarked on a journey to the northern desert. When I returned to court that day, the fault lay with him. Tarzeng showed us around and asked us about the Ben's North. I opened the painting he had given me that time. The people in the painting are watching the sunset from their shoulders. I'll need to lean on you then. You're making me feel so pressured. My voice and the sound of the wind are witnessed. Vegas. When everyone listens to adults. Qi Yuan's voice leads us to see the breath of heaven. Chen Yuangxi Wei. Appropriate road speed. The choice of the zodiac sign. My name is Yuan Lin, the greatly alarmed crown prince. My mother's family was prominent, but the emperor was incompetent and obsessed with magic. The mother clan then gave all their treasures. It's all on me. The prime minister is my uncle. I started when I was 3 years old. He personally taught me how to become a qualified emperor. I was still young at that time. I don't want to accept getting up at cockcrow. Life of studying in the study. So she cried and whined to her mother. My mother is very gentle, but she herself was also a bargaining chip for her family. Although she felt sorry for me, but there was nothing that could be done. When I was 6 years old, grandmother brought it back from outside the palace. A 3-year-old girl, born with a beautiful and delicate appearance. I often secretly went outside the palace after class, watching her being taught by her grandmother. She always had a strong urge to roll, but she forcefully pushed herself away, saying she wasn't sleepy. Sometimes I don't realize I've been looking at it for too long. You can also see her after she finishes her studies, playing and snuggling on her grandmother's lap. At this time, I was always being cared for by my uncle. Hands that have been whipped with thin bamboo strips. Then he slowly walked back to the East Palace. When I was 7 years old, I got rid of my own uncle. Following the sons of the powerful and wealthy, entered the Imperial Academy to study. And the little girl was also brought here by her grandmother. I remember my grandmother would come to take her every day. They would also come to pick her up and take her back to the palace after class. Even the strict gentleman liked her extra. She's young and knows how to be cute. And a bit clever. While others were being punished by standing, the man faced her, who had made the same mistake. Always take out a piece of candy. Then I patted her head and that was it. Sejajanya, I admire her. Meimu was loved by her grandmother. My Mu was carefree. It seems like all she needs to do is smile sweetly. Everyone will like her. Comedian, I hate her. When I was 8 years old, I went to my grandmother's palace to offer New Year's greetings. She held the little girl's hand and said to me, Meow Meow will be your future empress. After listening, I could only force myself. A smile plastered on his face, because I know that inside this palace, I can't go against it. The intention of any person. Young Mulia. Am I destined to be His Highness the Crown Prince's mother? His Highness the Crown Prince's mother is the Empress. Xiao Miao asked her grandmother with innocent eyes. Grandma laughed heartily. I'm not your brother Lin's mother. She was to be his wife. Isn't our Meow Meow the one who likes brother Lin the most? Lies. Xiao Miao, besides being at the Imperial Academy, I've only met him a few times a day. Where will I feel close to you? Oh, I understand. Xiao Miao nodded as if she understood. He stepped forward and took my hand again. I will be kind to brother Lin from now on. Very good. Those hands were soft and delicate. My first reaction was to want to withdraw, but looking at my grandmother's smiling face, I tried my best to suppress myself. This group of people, even my marriage, are they going to spare no one? Since then, I studied even harder how to be a good emperor, trying to be in front of them, playing the role of a qualified successor. Xiao Miao often came to talk to me. Every time I see her, I think of my life as a puppet on a string. The knot in my heart lies elsewhere, unable to vent at all. Thus, Xiao Miao became my air vent. She was as gentle as a lamb. Let me knead and shape it as I please. Never complained to my grandmother. Even if she complains, it won't make a difference, because in grandmother's eyes, she was also a bargaining chip for me after I rose to power. I unleashed my malice upon her. But Xiao Miao will always come towards me, try to please me in a clumsy way. I scoff at this. Anyway, she was born for me. No matter how I treated her, in the end, she will still be added to my harem. But halfway through, a number was encountered. A day in the life of Emperor Ren Heaping. As usual, I wanted to catch Su in the Thai character. A servant stepped forward. I know someone whose name contains the character, Qi Yuan of Ding Yuan Master's Mansion. Also determined by the deduction of the state and state. I want to prove that he moved aside. But he stood silently in front of me. His eyes held a coldness and ruthlessness. Regarding his usual behavior, I've heard about it. However, the small-time thugs in Dingzhou City went to. He filtered and blocked in front of me. I impatiently pushed him. Ji Gong. Center Xiong saves the beauty. Do you know that Su Sha and I are engaged? I can forget her if I want to. He remained silent. He stood firmly and motionless in front of me. My temper flared up instantly. What exactly is his 10th position? Yu Ding wanted to pass directly from the side. Qi Yuan saw my movement but lifted my collar. I pulled out the small cup outside the breakfast area. Bie sees you as Taisha. He thought he could follow the breath. Bullying Ms. Bei. I don't know the original text. Looking at the source from the opposite direction, I couldn't see the details of his clothes on his face. Stationary state. Still calm and peaceful. Anyway, his statement subtly hinted at something else. I lightly stern. She seemed quite happy to be bullied by me. Why bother with your writing? My mother was bullied by me, but she still managed to stick to me. What exactly does fixed rest mean? He heard that Yuan did not speak. They were still looking at my collar and realized it wasn't up. I wanted to break free from his, but he has extraordinary strength. I'm going to tear Buko apart. He still did not give up. Inside the Crown Prince. Please, Your Highness, reschedule the old man's place. Ji Yuan-chang, am picking the item. Watch out, I might do something to you. He threatened me with a single sentence. I had heard about his horse. The main special agent is determined to be the main war. The Imperial advisor must have been trapped in the entire building. Shangzi in Prince. Everyone avoids discussing his character. He should not be appointed to any position in 3 ways. Ren Zhuhu Ryuli. I can feel his unusual feelings towards Gua Sha. During class, he often looked at the ethereal, shadowy figure. I sleep by the boundary. The purgative was nothing more than a plaything of my grandmother Qiao and me. She also believes that jade is a rare and precious object. Moreover, regarding the unfinished ritual of Scutalaria, even if Qi Yuan protects her, how could she possibly understand? She only spoke softly. Keep sending me gifts. Continue living in the noodle-cutting tribe. Constant sound. Knowing this. Knowing someone's true heart. However, Bu Yuan is indeed very annoying. I also opened the Bully Jixinglu, a fictional building. Where did this skill come from? His merits are so high. I was in love with a playful writing style, and he intercepted it once. That time, I was reprimanded by a man while studying the scriptures. Moreover, the influence of vocal training is beyond doubt. When the heart is calm and serene, I believe that it has been brewed. A word from Jimei that Wei Ziaowa and Yuan Yu Ligu served in the northern desert. Yu, Ying Fulang, like her. It is inevitable. Only love is possible. She arranged for my grandmother to give me Qi Chongqiao. He listened to my public statement. His eyes instantly turned red. With studying and me, it was published with me. It is confirmed that there is no reply. Find him. Only the place of origin can be recognized. Wear a mask to go to class. Lixinmu Daxinwo. I don't talk to Fan Wangguan when I'm cold. If you harm the Buddha, then rest in peace on the Qianshan wood. The first ambassador arrived at the time of his own. The first angel served the base-colored time point. When eating, Page Johan was in pain. The map is for my public play. I paid that inspection directly. Decorate the pool with grime. Time. That big white province for me when I was noodle. Just Tianshan duo. I forget to take a picture. I don't know if the public will discuss the timing tomorrow, knowing full well that this is the only thing I'll do. I'm so young. How dare I say that? This is what I call flower stuff. The land has a large. My special color is fresh. Tian men fan muhu a naturally preserved wood. Original technique. Liu Yun's sudden appearance. Little Luda was vying for affection. September. I'm in a quiet shop. Wending Shuanghu Bridge when Renwashi Wang Yeji appeared. Miron. When I explore the silk thread. Determine the time to defend. I, Shibaoya, Yi Qingguang, became, 8 years ago, when Dongtai died. I was able to dissolve my marriage with Jusha. Bring the province I sing 100 trainings outside the man can stand out. Berseiji National Preceptor. Full face defense training. I issued a certificate for Chijo tour of Muhu Yipinsu. They cared about every aspect of my life. Wang Yi. I browsed the special troubles. Can be determined as half of Wang Yi's untitled works. When my daughter Na was young. Read the text until the 8th day of the month. Kugi Kitsune. Kaichosha. Dingban Nyoji Juohui. When he gave birth to his son, he was a special leader. Shanxingman Wantan. After reading Let Me Read at Night. Lo. Put the bottom. National and provincial people sing, people burn and buy. We young ones are delicious. The scenery can be described as not being able to speak. 6 powerful self-reliant. In the province and the time after. But the fixed machine location. Mu Juyu Mu. It can become a habit after reading. I should. That thing wouldn't let me pass. Kaiji Chang Hungsha Ganshang, looking for Djokovic's location. Chi Tefan gave me a letter. Sometimes he also acts out of a sense of justice. Wan Juan and Ri. Jian Yipinfei plays with me Mingni. Smelting. I attacked and captured a city, just like my brother had done. Registered monthly and with Collect Ku and Seal the Old. Collect Ku Jun the Old. I sent Wang the main mouthpiece but she didn't get it. I, Ren Xin, will definitely be a person of this era. On the way, Dowdy met with misfortune. It can be set to work with others at the same time as thousands of other tasks. A natural orchid in one's heart. Bu Quanqing pointed out that this was a battle. Is my heart safe? And you. Fixed low recovery when. War is not a matter of the heart. Purchase of noodles and music. Buerenfang led the province. Core and unspecified location save me. Taiwan Times. Put the new emperor at the gate of the imperial tent. Like that idle and carefree autumn reflection of me. For the public good, come to Shengshan. You are right about those 3. Your time is a great undertaking. Sexual responsibility wartime special forces. Na Wenru asked. My current director is directly promoted. Has anyone asked me about the general situation? I coldly patted the ground. 2000 Shangxing envoys put cloth. Lifting technique. What do you mean by Liu Ji? It was clearly possible. His voice was always on the topic of not going over Guandu's selection. I saw 6 times, and there was no title. Zhu Bao. I see free. When traveling to the continent, one should write about nature. Where did Gashanmu live? Certain grass pass. My heart feels at ease, letting myself wander freely. Guangwoji and Zuodi. Bale City. Licheng. Promotion to celebration of merit in an Ibin province, Julin Danbu. Will you decide my future? I went to Shanglagu. Small items say Harwei Loam, but the skin of the human should. Wang Renji's mother passed by the carriage and was serving her. And my emotional and intellectual limitations. I know that creating the same cloud as above is difficult. But I'm certain I'll open the door to the officials' teachings. The fixed value mother will not allow the rule. First, my heart, sand, small wood, water, me. But Dingju Tours have direct skin. Regarding the different me, I gave the same Jade Supreme Fruit Dragon. Also Han Shu and my Ji Ding Coupe. However, she made her extremely relaxed in the center of the number. That year on my birthday. I'm looking forward to her. Can you give me a gift? But it seems she just vanished from my world. It disappeared. My heart feels a little lonely. It should be a trip. You're not going to give me a gift, are you? Wait for her to come back. She didn't even think of coming to find me when she entered the palace. That day I heard she had returned, preparing for the coming-of-age ceremony, in her favorite royal garden. I waited for a very, very long time. I want to meet her. Unexpectedly, she only stayed at her grandmother's place. I didn't pay attention to the coming-of-age ceremony. Did I attend or participate? Qi Guang happened to come to pay his respects that day. Discuss with me the matter of another expedition to the northern desert. Both he and I have grown. But that day my mind was full of, why is Xiao Miao suddenly ignoring me? Plus, I know his feelings for Xiao Miao. A wicked sense of amusement welled up inside me. I spoke. How about I betroth Xiao Miao to you? Qi Guang looked flustered. The first time he knelt down and bowed his head in front of me. Please don't force me into marriage. Most of the generals who conquered the northern deserts survived by the skin of their teeth. Xiao Miao entrusted him with a truly unsuitable person. Funny. Will Xiao Miao agree? I just wanted her to come to the palace to beg me. Really, Xiao Miao is here, wearing a beautiful dress. It's a pity that her exquisite makeup and hairstyle were ruined. I'm getting ready for later. The way she pleaded with me. Unexpectedly, Qi Guang was. He pulled him up. She actually glared at me fiercely, calling out to Qi Guang as her husband. Let me tell you about the wedding. It was set at the time when Qi Guang set out on his expedition. I laughed in anger. Did she think this would make me flustered? I simply granted her wish. After all, those who went to the northern deserts faced a 9 out of 10 chance of death. If Qi Guang doesn't come back, she still had to come and beg me. But I couldn't sleep a wink that night. What I kept thinking about was, The husband she called out to Qi Guang, her first husband, was actually. It wasn't directed at me. When this idea popped into my head, I know I'm finished. Countless pent-up regrets, they started to surge up. I began to drift in it. But since things have already gone that far, I cannot go back on my word, so I secretly hoped. Let Qi Guang remain forever in the northern desert. Don't come back. But he came back. When Xiao Miao was at the city gate, even with a belt. I recognize her embroidery techniques. She made it by hand. She was even in Qi Guang's arms. A shy, silly smile. She hasn't had it for a long time. He smiled at me like an idiot. My jealousy is growing. However, Qi Guang returned to court victorious. I can't do anything about him. We could only watch as he moved into the Marquis's mansion, watching him spend day and night with Xiao Miao. What if Xiao Miao really falls in love with him? What should I do then? Ju Yu had already seen through my feelings. She offered me, in a seductive manner, folk hellish books. Only then did I see hope. What does losing 20 years of life matter? Being manipulated by others in this life. I was pushed into a seat I didn't want to sit in. This puppet-like. The less life, the better. But the world's true feelings towards me. Only one. There's only one Xiao Miao. How could I bear to see her marry someone else? She washed her hands and cooked for him, and bore him children, snuggling in his arms. She's never even acted cute with me. During that period, I often examine my past self. The discovery actually happened a long time ago. I fell in love with Xiao Miao. I regret the gift she gave me. I ruined them all. I have no choice. Find a trace of her in this palace. Finally fell asleep. I had a dream. In her dream, Xiao Miao was picked up by a sedan chair and taken to the palace. She called me Lin Lang. I gave birth to one, a daughter as beautiful as jade. On my birthday and Qixi festival every year, she would embroider one for me. A belt with tiger embroidery. Can use that delicate small regular script. Write me love letters. She would snuggle in my arms in the imperial garden. She begged me to feed her sweets. When I woke up, I kept replaying the scenes from my dream in my mind. My heart is incredibly soft. If only this were true. Why did I push her away? Finally, Qixi festival is here. I asked the sorcerers of the star-picking tower. Prepared. The imperial advisor persuaded me for a whole month. But my mind is made up. I held the hand I gave her, the prepared bracelet. Thinking about when things will succeed. Send it to Xiao Miao immediately. My little one hasn't received my gift. I want to give her a gift. The imperial advisor saw that he could not persuade me. I can only follow my heart. I held a banquet in the palace on Qixi festival. I saw Xiao Miao and Qi Guang walking side by side. I know she dislikes the noise and commotion of banquets. Qi Guang was entangled again. I followed her all the way to the imperial garden. I hope she remembers today, the day to give me a gift. But her face remained completely expressionless, even with confusion. In an instant, all emotions vanished, surging up. I couldn't help but hug her. I told her how I felt. But she tried to push me away. She was determined to leave me. I feel very useless. Why? Grandmother wasn't talking about her. Will he be the one who loves me the most? Why doesn't she love me anymore? I will learn how to love her. I give her a gift every day. Ju Yuha's arranged marriage was just an accident. Why doesn't she like me anymore? How could she do this? She kept saying she wanted to be my wife. You have to be very, very good to me. On the one hand, they abandoned me. The star-picking tower was brightly lit. I can feel the ceremony is about to begin. But suddenly halfway through, a person intervened. The entire ceremony was disrupted. I desperately embraced Xiao Miao. She didn't move in my arms. You suddenly thought. She accepted me. As a result, she, in the moment I relaxed, he ran forcefully behind me. She threw herself into Qi Guang's arms. My insignificance. He doesn't love me anymore. Grandmother and mother knew what I did. I was punished by being sent to the Buddhist temple to pray for Miao Miao. I am willing. The suffering she has endured over the years, I simply have no way of repaying it. Solemn Buddha statue. I looked at him with pity in his eyes. The sparks in my heart are still rising. Buddha. Can I still get Xiao Miao to marry me? Just then, a gust of wind blew in from outside. The wind extinguished the candle flame in front of me. I knew it in my heart. With a wry smile, he borrowed a fire and relit it. That's fine. I comforted myself. Love in the imperial family, not a good thing. I only wish I could be carefree in my next life. When I saw Xiao Miao again, I must grant her a spring.